Hello, hello. This is Aaliyah Moore. I am running for DPSCD School Board, Detroit Public Schools Community District School Board. I am at my alma mater, Cass Technical High School. I was class of 1998. I came out in the original one of the older building, and but it's always good to be on this space, on this land. And as I said before, my daughter is a Cass Tech graduate also from 2020. So I am not shy to the building, but it's always good to be here. Tonight's meeting, I was late, but apparently right on time. I was not very well attended, so I don't know how the PTA's president, put it out there, or put the word out there for the parents to come, or maybe it just was a bad night. But give or take, as big as this school is, we might have had 10 people, and that's being very generous. But that's still 10 voters and 20 ears to hear. So I'm content with that. The structure was a little different. Most of the forums, they give us the question and go down the line to answer. But it was really pick. Each question, give or take, had about 3 or 4 candidates to answer. So that was a little different. I still go back to my original statement. You can say all of these things, what you want to do and what you gonna do. But especially for the people that have been on this board, it's not enough of what they've done and put in place. And so you just got to know, you just got to do your homework and just do your research, because as I've always stated, the shiny flyers and the stickers and all of that, that's part of campaigning. But if you have children in this district, you really should have seen some type of change throughout the years. And COVID, like I said, has really been the saving grace. But even with the management of this money, it was mismanaged. And to sit up and say continuously what you're going to do and what you're going to provide, it's like, where are you going to get the funding from? Iris Taylor is really throwing me off with these health hubs, because it's like, are we going to sponsor with the city of Detroit? She does already have a connection with Mike Duggan and the city of Detroit with the nurses. So it's like, does she have a plug that we don't know about? Because it's like, if enrollment doesn't go up and stay up, we're getting rid of academic interventionists, attendance agents, nurses. But how are we going to create health hubs? I'm not really sure how that's going to work. And when you think about that, productively, it would just be more beneficial to continue to partner with, the Detroit Health Department and Family Independent Children, FIA. It's like, you're trying to create this one-stop shop, but you're still, health is very important, because if a child isn't healthy, they can't come to school. But you're not designating any of your ideas towards academics. You're not designating any of your ideas into mental health services. You're saying that these health hubs are going to have mental health services, but once again, where are we going to get the funding? And people must know that Ms. Taylor is a total dictator. If you see my videos, she has put myself out of board meetings, because I went over my 2 minutes. And as I said before, she put out, or attempted to put out, Mother Queen Helen Moore years ago, when she was the president, had police literally pick her up off the floor, off the ground, and try to take her out of a meeting. She is a total dictator, and she will try to run this as a very tight ship, as if it is the DMC. And when she was the president, you felt the frigidness and the coldness and the regime, seriously, because even the current board members did not even have the verbal freedom that they have now. And so it's like, you have to be careful on who are funding these candidates. All you got to do is just look at their literature, look in the corner of who is sponsoring them, and just Google it, because like I said yesterday, a lot of people in Detroit and in general politics, they want to be lied to. They want to be amused and, satisfy me and, just give me what I want to hear. But instead, you're not really focused on who is really doing the work. And so it's very important as a community just to be mindful, people, please, because like I said, it wasn't that many people here today, but we still have voters. And I do appreciate the youth because they did, ask the questions, and you could tell they were nervous, but those are the future leaders, and that's really what it's all about. But once again, you didn't see truth tonight, because if any board member that is already on this board, they have not spoke on the true issues, which is our enrollment. They are talking about chronic absenteeism. They're talking about a lot of things that they want to do, but they need to be currently transparent with you now that if our enrollment doesn't go up and stay up, then 23, 24, there will be major cuts. And so then I believe they will, be reactive and trying to, ease the minds of the community and the staff and students once these changes actually happen. My prayer is that our enrollment stays where it is, but as long as the district is very complacent at this COVID money, and they look at it really as they have done their due diligence, but then they're talking about the chronic absenteeism and trying to strengthen the academic gap, which I stated before should have been top priority over buildings. And so they're not telling the public what's really going on, and they're giving the illusion, the continued illusion that, they're doing things right, they're on the right path. Dr. Vitti is not making decisions that they do not approve, because they pretty much approve everything that he says and does. And if you have 7 people on the board that always see eye to eye, that never can agree to disagree, just to have those thoughts, but I don't agree, but it's mainly, and the majority is okay. And that's not productive. That's basically like just being a yes board. And they don't like when you say this, but ultimately a rubber stamp board, because you're just stamping everything that's coming across you instead of actually using the core values of the district, which is students first. And to sit in this space and to say that you're doing and you're thinking about students first when you're not. One of the questions was about student representation on the board. As I said last week, the current student had resigned to move on to other opportunities. But even in that space, she was the only student that sat for a good 2 months, give or take. So, one of the moderators, which was a student, said that she had just applied for that position on the board. And so, I hope whatever student that gets it, I hope that they really are not necessarily moldable in a sense of just being a Lone Ranger and using their opinions and coming to the board, but to be a student that is willing to talk to other students and teach them and empower them to advocate for themselves, but able to trust that student rep with the concerns that they have. And that, if I'm elected, I can try to visit through policy. But the current student that just left, I could honestly say she was a rubber stamp student. And that's being respectful, because her message to the public, a while ago was that we need to respect the board, and us hollering out and shouting was, unprofessional and non-productive. Little does she know we're doing this for the sake of your education. And so, it's just, I was excited and, proud of our students being the moderators and trying to lead this forward. But I was disappointed in the crowd, considering that it was Cass Tech. But like I said, a voter is a voter, and I'm glad that 10 people decided to show up. So, just moving forward, people, just be wise, It goes unseen a lot of times, not just in this election space, but in general. When people speak truth and they are, non-compromising, it becomes a threat. And, like I said in my other video, when the money behind these people, and I can safely say dirty money behind some of our candidates, pushing an agenda with that money. And when you take that money, you got to do what's needed. Whether they giving you some for your pocket or giving you some to make all these glitz and glamour flyers, it's still dirty money. And you still have an obligation and to fulfill and trust and believe. That dirty money gonna want to report. They're gonna want to get in the inside and see what's going on. So Detroit, you can be fooled if you want to. I pray you don't. Win or lose, as I always say, I'm going to be out here. But for all of these people that come to these engagements, you want to do your due diligence at the poll, please don't stop just at the poll. Because at this time, like I said in there, it's way too much money in this district for candidates to be talking about people bringing snacks for after school. We had $1.27 billion. If a after-school program is established with the ARPA money that each school, and ARPA money is pretty much COVID funding, the last of it that was designated to these schools, if you're using a company, the principals are responsible for planning and dictating the funds, that money. So we should not be in a space where parents have to stand in the gap and bring snacks for after-school programming. I mean, that doesn't make sense. I'm not saying that this $1.27 billion is going to last forever, but when it comes down to strategic planning, parent engagement is one thing. Bringing snacks and filling in the gap, God bless you, but at this time, people are recovering themselves. Everybody is not all, in a space of, financial blessings, should I say. It's messed up out here for some people still. So I guess the people that have donate and the people that don't, don't. But I mean, it's begging at this time. It just don't make sense to me. Candidates saying that, and I'm looking in my head like, huh? Let's get the parents involved. Let's see what's going on and try to get the kids here. We don't need to beg for snacks. That's something simple and something frivolous, but like I said, some people want to be lied to. Some people are content with some of the answers that were given tonight. And, that's your personal right and your opinion. But, I mean, whoever you vote for, like I said and like I always say, just show up to some meetings. Please show up. Hello, Depot. How are you, sir? Thank you so much for tuning in to my live. But just stay engaged. Just stay engaged beyond the poll. And don't be fooled with this health hub thing, because that's kind of bothering me. Since Iris Taylor got off the board, she was still working with the city, because of her being a nurse. But then now you want to come back to the board and you keep harping on these health hubs. So is it a connection with her, Duggan, trying to get into schools? I don't know, but it sounds fishy to Aaliyah Moore. So hopefully, like and pass, share this video, and just get to Googling, folks. I've already said Google me. Feel free. You can reach out to me on here, Messenger, but just do a little bit more research, people, because this health hub thing and these former candidates trying to get reelected, they are doing a lot of talking about what they want to do versus just giving their plain track record of what they've done. And that would absolutely make a voter want to vote for you if you can solidly tell me the things that you have done sitting in this space already. So that's all I got tonight, people. It is a virtual forum tomorrow. And I got my days so mixed up. I'm sitting online waiting on that to start. And I look up and I'm like, dang, I need to be at CAS. So I got here. I was right on time, even though I was late. So there is a virtual forum tomorrow. I will post that at 6 o'clock p.m. Friday. I don't think it's anything. But it's 2 radio shows on Sunday. And then a couple of other things next week. So I will post them. But more importantly than anything that I'm saying, The financial meeting, very important meeting, is Friday, this 28th at 9 a.m. And you can get on the DPSCD website, go down to upcoming events, and you can get on that meeting via Zoom. You can go in person down at the Fisher Building. They will validate your parking, and you can get on the phone and call in and just listen. Because the sale of Cooley High School is going to go, supposed to go to the board meeting in November, but they will be having that discussion in the financial meeting. Dr. VD is pretty much set on trying to sell Cooley for $400,000 to Life Remodel, but it does have to pass through the board. So we'll see what happens with that, but ultimately just try to tune in that financial meeting if you can, and I'll post that information as well. So Aaliyah Moore, DPSCD School Board, have a good night, like and share, and I will see you all tomorrow.